Sometimes, love doesn't come dressed in grand declarations or dramatic gestures. It walks in softly, in small acts, in quiet decisions, in things that don't need to be spoken aloud. In fact, some of the deepest forms of love are the ones that are felt, not said. The kind where a man doesn't need to tell you he prioritizes you, because everything he does already proves it. You might not always notice it right away. At first, it may seem like he's just being kind or thoughtful, but then you start to recognize a pattern. He answers your messages faster than anyone else. He remembers something you casually mentioned 3 weeks ago. He shows up for you when no one else does. And slowly, the truth becomes clear. You're not just someone in his life. You've quietly become a part of it. This kind of attention doesn't shout. It whispers. It's in the way he listens when the topic isn't his favorite. It's how he shifts his plans without needing a thank you. It's the way he watches you closely enough to know when something's wrong, even when you say you're fine. These are not just polite habits. They are hidden signs that you've become his emotional center, the one person he's constantly thinking about, protecting, and prioritizing. And what makes these signs even more powerful is that they come without expectation. He's not doing these things so you'll praise him or give him something in return. He's doing them because you matter, because your happiness, your comfort, your presence mean more to him than his own convenience. Many women wait for a man to say the words, "You're important to me." But often, those words are already being said in a language more honest than speech, through time, attention, small sacrifices, and quiet loyalty. That's the language of real love. And if you've ever wondered whether the man in your life truly prioritizes you, pay close attention, not just to what he says, but to what he chooses. Because when a man is emotionally invested, you won't have to guess. You'll feel it in the way he shows up, in the decisions he makes, and in the silent ways he chooses you over and over again. So today, we're not talking about the obvious. We're diving into the quiet, powerful signs that often go unnoticed. The subtle habits that reveal where you truly stand in his heart. Here are 13 hidden signs he prioritizes you, without ever needing to say a word. 1. He remembers the smallest things you mention. He remembers the smallest things you mention, and you might think it's just a coincidence. But it's not. When a man is emotionally invested, his mind naturally holds onto even the tiniest details you share. You could have casually mentioned your favorite snack, the name of your childhood pet, or how rainy days make you feel nostalgic. Weeks later, he brings up that snack when you're having a bad day, or he randomly asks about your pet, remembering its name like it mattered to him just as much as it once did to you. That's not forgettable trivia to him. It's a map of who you are. He's not just listening. He's storing parts of you, not to use them against you or impress you, but because those details become precious to him. They form his mental picture of who you are, and he cherishes that picture in silence. Sometimes you'll be in the middle of a conversation, and he'll reference something you completely forgot you told him. That moment might catch you off guard. You'll smile. But inside, it hits you. He actually listens. Not just to respond, but to understand. This isn't the kind of man who showers you with grand gestures or poetic declarations. No, his love is quiet, consistent, and deeply aware. He might not say, "I love you" every day, but remembering the smallest things about you, that is his way of saying it. When a man values you, your words aren't just noise in the air. They linger. Even if you shared something while laughing, crying, or half asleep, he heard you. Because to him, you matter. Every small detail is a thread he weaves into the bigger picture of his affection for you. So next time he brings up something small, something you thought he forgot, don't dismiss it. That's love, speaking without words. 2. He adjusts his schedule just to spend time with you. He adjusts his schedule just to spend time with you, and he may not even make a big deal out of it. That's because when a man truly values your presence, he doesn't see it as a sacrifice. He sees it as something that matters more than whatever else was on his calendar. Maybe he was supposed to meet his friends, catch up on work, or hit the gym. But when you need him, or even just casually mention you're free, suddenly he's there. No complaints, no hesitation. This kind of effort isn't loud or dramatic. He won't announce it like he's doing you a favor. In fact, sometimes he won't tell you at all that he moved things around. You'll only realize it later, maybe through a passing comment like, "Yeah, I was gonna head out, but I'd rather be here with you." And in that moment, it sinks in. You were the priority. Not out of obligation, out of choice. That's what makes it special. Because time is one of the most valuable things we have. And when someone gives it freely, consistently, and without needing praise, it speaks volumes. He's telling you, without needing to say it, "You're important to me." And the truth is, it's not always convenient for him. But he still finds a way. Maybe he shifts his entire day around just to catch dinner with you. Or he stays up late to talk after a long shift. Or he wakes up early just to send a good morning message before your big day. These aren't accidents. They are intentional, even if they seem subtle. In a world where everyone's busy, the man who slows down for you is showing something deeper. Love doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it simply clears a schedule. And in that space, it creates time just for you. 3. He checks in on you even during his busiest days. He checks in on you even during his busiest days, and that speaks louder than 1,000 promises. When a man is overwhelmed with work, errands, or responsibilities, it's easy to assume he's too distracted to think about anything else. But somehow, in the middle of meetings, deadlines, traffic, or chaos, he pauses, even if just for a moment, to ask how you're doing. It might be a quick text, a short voice note, a call between appointments. Nothing dramatic, just something simple like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Or just checking in. "Everything okay?" And you realize you crossed his mind when he had 100 other things to think about. That's not random. That's emotional presence. He doesn't wait for the perfect time. He makes time. And it's not about trying to look good or gain points. It's genuine. Because even when he can't physically be there, he wants you to feel emotionally held. To know that no matter how busy life gets, there's a part of him still reserved for you. It's easy to check in when life is slow and peaceful. But when things are hectic and he still remembers to reach out, that's love in motion. That's someone who sees your well-being as part of his own balance. Your silence worries him. Your stress matters. And even if he can't fix things, he wants you to know you're not alone. It's in those brief, unannounced moments that you feel his consistency. He doesn't vanish when things get hard. If anything, he becomes more intentional. That simple "how are you" isn't just politeness. It's a quiet reminder. You're still on my mind, no matter what's going on. And sometimes, the most meaningful love doesn't arrive with flowers or grand gestures. It comes with a midday message that says, "I see you. I haven't forgotten you. You still matter, even in my busiest hours." 4. He makes sure you're comfortable before settling himself. He makes sure you're comfortable before settling himself. And he does it so naturally, you might not even notice at first. Whether it's handing you the warmer blanket, offering you the better seat, or adjusting the room temperature without being asked, his quiet actions speak volumes. He's tuned into your comfort before his own. Not because he's trying to impress you, but because your well-being genuinely matters to him. It's in the little things. You walk into a room, and he subtly checks to see if you're cold or warm. He waits to eat until you have your plate. If you're walking together, he positions himself closer to the traffic side of the street. If you're watching a movie, he shifts just enough so you can lean on him better, even if it means he's sitting awkwardly. These aren't grand sacrifices, but they are intentional choices. He doesn't ask, "Do you need anything?" out of formality. He asks because he wants to make sure you're okay before he even thinks of settling in himself. And if you say you're fine, he still keeps observing, just in case your body language says otherwise. That's care, the quiet kind. Sometimes, it's not about the words or the big gestures. It's about whether he notices if your shoes are hurting or if you're a little too quiet in a noisy crowd. And when he does, when he leans in and whispers, "Want to leave?" you realize he's not just with you. He's watching over you. A man who makes your comfort his quiet priority is someone who's emotionally present. Someone who doesn't view your needs as a burden, but as part of the bond he's trying to build. His comfort becomes complete only when yours is considered first. And that right there, that small, consistent attention, is a form of love few people recognize, but everyone longs for. 5. He replies to your messages faster than anyone else's. He replies to your messages faster than anyone else's. And that one small habit says more than you think. It's not just about response time. It's about priority. In a world where unread messages pile up, and people are too busy to respond for hours or days, his quick reply stands out like a quiet whisper of, "You matter to me." When your message lights up his screen, something in him pauses. It could be during a meeting, while he's out with friends, or even in the middle of a long day. But still, you get a reply. Not a rushed one, not a careless emoji or generic LOL. It's thoughtful, present. Even when it's short, it feels intentional. Because what he's really saying is, your voice cuts through the noise. Your words don't get pushed to the bottom of his list. They don't have to wait. He wants you to know you're heard, seen, and thought of in real time. And while others might take their time or play games, he's different. He doesn't leave you wondering. Sometimes he may not even notice he's doing it. It's instinctive. Because when you care about someone deeply, you don't let their presence sit in the background, even if it's just digital. You meet them where they are, quickly, eagerly, softly. And you'll notice his replies to others, slower, drier, less involved. But with you, there's an energy, a warmth, a presence. You don't need to fight for his attention. You already have it. People often say, if they wanted to, they would. And in this case, he is. His fast replies aren't about addiction to his phone. They are about connection to you. And in a world where attention is currency, he's investing his most valuable thing, his time, in real time. That's not just texting. That's emotional priority. That's affection, disguised as a fast reply. 6. He notices when something's off, even if you say you're fine. He notices when something's off, even if you say you're fine. And that's when you realize he really sees you. Not just the version you show to the world, but the quieter you, the one behind the polite smiles and default responses. You might think you've hidden it well. You answer with a calm tone, maybe even force a laugh. But he catches it, the slight pause, the shift in your eyes, the way your voice lowers just a little. While others move on, taking your "I'm okay" at face value, he lingers. He tilts his head, looks at you a second longer, and gently asks again, not because he's nosy, but because something inside him knows your heart didn't mean what your mouth said. And when you still insist you're fine, he doesn't push. But he doesn't walk away either. He stays close. He may change the subject softly or offer comfort without demanding an explanation. He might bring your favorite drink without saying why, or send a song, or simply hold space for you, quietly, until you're ready to share. That kind of awareness is rare, and it's powerful. It means he's paying attention, not just to what you say, but to what you feel. He doesn't need drama or breakdown to know something's wrong. He reads the silence between your words, the distance in your hugs, the weight in your footsteps. And what's even more beautiful is that he doesn't make your struggle about himself. He doesn't guilt you for not opening up. He just wants you to know he's there, whether you talk or not, whether you cry or pretend to smile. When a man loves you deeply, he becomes attuned to your emotional weather. He doesn't need a forecast. He feels the shift in the air. And that kind of connection is rare, steady, and deeply loving. Because sometimes the most caring words are the ones never spoken, just felt. 7. He includes you in future plans casually. He includes you in future plans casually, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. And that's how you know it's real. There's no grand announcement, no dramatic build-up, no pressure. Just quiet mentions that reveal you're already a part of the life he's building in his mind. It might come in small moments. You're talking about a movie, and he says, "We should watch that together when it comes out." Or is planning a trip months from now and casually asks, "Would you want to come with me?" Not because he's trying to impress you, but because in his mind, your presence is already assumed. And that's the difference. He doesn't just see you as someone temporary, someone passing through his life. He sees you as someone who will be there, someone who belongs in the long-term picture. Whether it's a wedding in 6 months, his cousin's graduation, or a dream he's quietly working on, he leaves space for you in it. without asking for permission, without overthinking it. These subtle inclusions say more than direct declarations ever could. They reveal comfort, intention, and emotional security. You're not just part of his present, you're already woven into his tomorrow. Even when he's unsure of what the future holds, one thing seems clear in his mind: you'll be part of it. That kind of quiet planning, without pressure or performance, shows he's emotionally invested. It means he's not playing games. He's thinking long-term, and he wants you there, beside him, not behind him. So if you ever catch him saying, "We'll have to try that next summer," or "That restaurant just opened, let's go sometime," don't overlook it. Those casual words are his way of making space for you in his future. And in a world full of temporary love, that's a rare kind of clarity, the kind that whispers, "I'm not just thinking about today. I'm thinking about you tomorrow, too." 8. He chooses to be with you over other options. He chooses to be with you over other options, not loudly, not to prove a point, but simply because you're where he feels most himself. In a world full of distractions, invitations, and endless things pulling his attention elsewhere, he consistently makes the quiet decision to be by your side. And that choice, that pattern of choosing you, means more than any grand gesture. It could be something as simple as turning down a night out with friends because you mentioned you had a tough day, or skipping a game, a trip, or an event because you needed him, even if you didn't say it out loud. He picks you, not because he has to, but because deep down, he wants to. You're not a backup plan. You're his priority, and he doesn't make you feel like you owe him for that time. He doesn't hold it over your head or expect you to return the favor. He shows up with presence, not pressure. His time with you doesn't feel like a favor. It feels like home. This isn't about control or sacrificing everything. It's about balance. It's about the way he navigates his life with you in mind. You'll notice it in the way he keeps space for you, how he makes time even when there's no time left. Because when a man truly cares, his actions will whisper what his words might hesitate to say. You matter more than anything else right now. When he consistently chooses you, it builds quiet security. You don't feel like you're competing for his attention. You feel safe, seen, valued, because you know, even when he has options, he keeps coming back to you. And not for what you offer him, just for who you are. That kind of choosing isn't temporary. It's not reactive. It's rooted in love, the kind that shows up again and again without needing applause. 9. He shares things with you first before anyone else. He shares things with you first before anyone else. And he might not even realize how much that says. Whether it's good news, bad news, or something as simple as a funny story from his day, you're the first person that comes to mind. Not because it's convenient, but because you're his person. When something happens, his instinct is to reach for his phone and tell you. He wants your reaction, your thoughts, your voice in the middle of his experience. It's not about needing validation. It's about connection. You've become the one he wants to laugh with, vent to, or even cry with. That kind of instinct doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from trust. You'll notice it in the way he says, "I haven't told anyone else this yet," or "You're the first person I'm telling." Those aren't just throwaway lines. They reveal the quiet intimacy that's growing between you, the emotional closeness he might not be able to explain, but chooses to protect. Sometimes, it's not even something big. Maybe it's a new idea he had, a struggle he's facing, or something personal he hasn't shared with anyone. But he tells you. And when he does, he's letting you into the space most people don't see, the raw, unfiltered part of his life. That's not just affection. That's vulnerability. And here's the beautiful part. He doesn't always wait for the right moment. He texts you mid-meeting, calls you late at night, or blurts it out during a quiet walk. Because to him, the right moment is whenever you are there. You're not just someone he talks to. You're the one he opens up with, first, always. That kind of access is sacred. And if he's giving it to you, it means you've become more than just important. You've become essential. When a man shares his world with you first, without hesitation, it's his way of saying, "You're the one I trust with my truth." 10. He listens attentively, even when it's a topic he doesn't care about. He listens attentively, even when it's a topic he doesn't care about, and that's one of the purest signs of emotional investment. It's easy to listen when something interests you, but when a man leans in, makes eye contact, nods, and stays engaged during a conversation he wouldn't normally seek out, that's not about the topic. That's about you. You could be talking about something small, a book you love, a show he's never watched, or a problem at work he barely understands. And yet, he's there, fully present, not rushing you, not zoning out, because to him, your excitement matters. Your frustration matters. You matter. He may not say much, but you'll notice the signs. He asks thoughtful questions. He remembers details days later. He doesn't interrupt or steer the conversation back to himself. He lets you speak, and he listens, not just with his ears, but with intention. Because when someone listens like that, they're not just hearing words. They are making space for your world inside theirs. And it's not always about agreeing or giving advice. Sometimes, it's just the way he listens, like what you're saying is important simply because it came from you. He might not understand your hobby or your work drama, but he stays with you through the conversation. He wants to understand, or at least be near the things that matter to you. That kind of listening isn't common. It's rare. It's intimate. It shows emotional maturity and care. It shows that he's not just in love with how you look or how you make him feel. He's invested in who you are, even the parts that live far from his own interests. So if he listens with full attention while you talk about something you know isn't his thing, don't overlook it. That quiet patience, that focused presence, that's love, showing up in the form of undivided attention, even when the topic doesn't excite him, because you do. 11. He compromises just to avoid upsetting you. He compromises just to avoid upsetting you, and he does it without resentment, without drama, and without keeping score. That kind of quiet sacrifice often goes unnoticed, but it's one of the strongest signs that he values not just being with you, but being good to you. Maybe he lets you choose the restaurant, even though it's not his favorite. Maybe he agrees to meet your friends, change his schedule, or skip something you wanted to do, simply because he senses you need him, or he wants to keep the peace. Not because he's giving in, but because he understands that sometimes love isn't about winning. It's about preserving. What makes his compromise beautiful is that he doesn't announce it. He doesn't say, "Look what I gave up for you." He just does it, quietly, intentionally. He values your happiness more than proving a point. And he knows that in love, it's not always about being right. It's about being kind. Even when he disagrees, he speaks gently. Even when his plans shift, he adapts. Not because he's weak, or afraid, or trying to please you, but because your comfort matters. Your smile matters. And sometimes, he'd rather hold back than cause you stress. That's emotional strength, not weakness. Of course, he's human. He has his own wants, his own boundaries. But when he consistently chooses empathy over ego, when he softens, bends, or steps aside to protect your peace, that's love in one of its most selfless forms. You'll know it's real because it feels safe, not smothering. It doesn't come with guilt or manipulation, just a quiet understanding. I could push back, but I won't, because I care about how this makes you feel. In relationships, not every compromise is visible. Some happen in the background, unnoticed, uncelebrated, but they build trust. They create space for harmony. And when a man chooses your peace over his pride, again and again, that's a rare kind of love, gentle, steady, and quietly loyal. 12. He shows up when it truly matters, no excuses. He shows up when it truly matters, no excuses. And that's when you realize his love isn't built on words, but on presence. Anyone can send a message or make a promise, but when life gets messy, stressful, or uncertain, very few people actually show up. He does, and without needing to be asked. It's not about convenience. It's not about having extra time. It's about you. He rearranges, reschedules, rethinks, just to be there. Whether it's your big moment, your darkest hour, or a day that means something to you but nothing to the rest of the world, he remembers. And more than that, he shows up, physically, emotionally, and fully. Is the person waiting outside your interview to walk you home. Is there with medicine when you're sick. Is in the audience when you speak, even if he had to run from another obligation. And when the world feels like it's falling apart, his message isn't, sorry, I can't. It's, I'm already on my way. You'll notice he doesn't come up with excuses. He doesn't hide behind I forgot or I had a lot going on. He doesn't let you down when it truly counts. Because to him, showing up is love. Being present is proof. He knows that in your most vulnerable moments, it's not about gifts or grand gestures. It's about who stands beside you without needing an invitation. And it's not performative. He doesn't expect applause. He doesn't show up to be noticed. He shows up to support. Quietly, consistently, and without making it about himself. In a world where everyone's busy, where people make promises but rarely follow through, a man who shows up when it really matters is rare. He's telling you, without saying a word, you can count on me. I won't disappear when it's hard. That kind of loyalty can't be faked. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. Because love isn't proven when it's easy, it's proven when it's needed most. And when he's there, every time, without excuse, you'll know you matter more than anything else. 13. He makes space for you in his daily life without being asked. He makes space for you in his daily life without being asked. And that's how you know you're not just a passing thought. You're part of his routine, his rhythm, his everyday world. And he doesn't need to be reminded or nudged. He just naturally includes you. Because in his mind, you belong there. It shows in the little things. Maybe he calls you on his lunch break, even if it's just for a minute. Maybe he sends a message in the middle of a hectic day just to check in. Or maybe he lets you know about his schedule, not out of obligation, but because he wants you to feel included, not left out. You never have to beg for his time, because he offers it before you ask. He starts to align his world with yours, whether that's remembering your morning routine, planning around your work hours, or inviting you to things he used to do alone. And it's not about giving up his independence. It's about building something together, quietly, intentionally. You'll feel it when he makes room for your voice in conversations, your needs and decisions, your presence in moments that used to be just his. Maybe he starts watching a show you love. Maybe he keeps your favorite snack at his place. Maybe he simply saves the last bit of his day to talk to you, no matter how tired he is. All of this, without being told, without needing a reminder. Because when a man is emotionally invested, he doesn't need direction to show you you're important. He already knows, and he acts on it, not once, not twice, but consistently. Making space for someone isn't about time management. It's about care, prioritizing, quietly saying, your place in my life isn't conditional, it's chosen. And when a man chooses you daily, through ordinary habits and small gestures, you'll feel it, not as pressure, but as peace. Because you'll never have to wonder where you stand. You'll already be there.